Ag Talk.
Of course, that was Matt Cavan on guitar.
Foley and Ringer here this week. We'll start you off by letting you know we're taking next week off because, well, I got to work. It's playoff time.
I heard somebody told you to take 2 weeks off and just quit.
Well, it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
No, that would never
You
happen.
just never know.
This show is just too doggone popular.
Too popular. So, well, last week we waited with the NFL to the end, so let's start with the NFL. Did the Vikes look impressive yesterday, or is it just because they were playing the Cardinals?
First half, I thought that was very similar to the Buffalo game.
It was.
You know, it was
Yes, it
eerily similar, and I could tell the crowd was kind of feeling that too. And
Very flat.
Cousins didn't look sharp. Again,
Okay,
to be expected.
Is it? Yeah, the fumble again. Those things happen. You think he didn't look sharp throwing the ball or make decision making?
I think decision making. You know, there's no questioning his arm. Sometimes he holds it a little too long. His ticker. You know, the good quarterbacks have that
Sense.
clock, that timer in their back of their head, and some can feel the pressure a little better than others. He's a little slow at that. I like the guy though. I really like Kirk
Marcus
Cousins.
Mariota doesn't have that timer in his head apparently.
Marcus Mariota.
After he
Speaking
got
about
sacked,
taking 2 weeks off.
11 times he got sacked
Holy
yesterday, but
nuts.
I thought the Vikes. I thought they kind of started a little slow at home, and they even said the announcer said something in the third quarter about after the Vikes scored twice. The crowd's back into this. They got to find a way to. Rosen's got to find a way to take the crowd out of this.
Yeah.
Because they seemed pretty flat in the first half.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is everybody just kind of feeling the same thing? Like it's not. There's not that explosion yet. That. What is it?
I think it's fine. Latavius Murray, unfortunately for me, fantasy-wise, really hurt me, along with the New York Jets kicker. Holy man, he got 24. He had 7 field goals.
Oh, I did not know that.
So that
I did
hurt
not
me. And
realize
then,
that.
anyways, getting back to Latavius, he ran hard, but the holes were big.
I was going to say, is the offensive line that much better, or is the Cardinals' defensive line that poor? Because it looked like we went in with a mindset we were going to try to run the football more.
Yeah, the scouting report on the Arizona Cardinals is they are quick, but they're not as savvy, not as intelligent. Their game plan probably wasn't set up real well to stop the run yesterday, and I thought it was a good game by the Vikings. They definitely controlled that second half, and you get up by so many points. You know, it seems like you get up 20 points, and the offense is just going to stagnant hand off the ball mode, and you don't see that out of the Chiefs and a few other teams. They just keep attacking, and some good football, fun to watch, fantasy-wise. It's tough to watch at times, but it is fun.
I was watching the Sunday night game for the first time, maybe all season. I watched the Sunday night game last night, kind of off and on. I was flipping through the channels, but when it got to be 33-26, I think New England went ahead. I said, Kansas City is definitely getting to 40, so New England's got to score a field goal, and they ended up getting it because it just felt like Kansas City was finding their way. They were getting warmed up. They knew what they were going to do, and it looked like they were going to get to 40, and they did. And somebody said last night, is this the preview of the NFC Championship? I think I was watching Scott Van Pelt, and it kind of looks that way.
Pittsburgh showed their moxie yesterday, although probably an illegal pick on the winning touchdown. But and then they call that measly call against Kyle Rudolph in the Vikings game, and again, there's you go with the definition of what refs want to do, and we'll get to that when we talk about the Wild.
Not supposed to win?
Yeah, it's sometimes you wonder, and great football though. I think Patrick Mahomes proved that
he belongs.
He's the real deal, and he will continue to have success. I mean, he's got targets, he's got running game, he's got tight ends. I mean, yeah, there's no stopping Kansas City. It's whether they can stop anybody themselves.
That's a very good point. I didn't want to bring up, I was thinking about this today. Thielen has caught over 100 yards passing in 6 straight games. The only player ever to do that in the Super Bowl era.
Paul Warfield?
Huh?
Paul
No, Charlie
Joyner?
No. He played for the Chargers back in '61. Charlie.
I know what you're saying.
It's not, anyway.
Pendergrass.
Yeah,
I did like Charlie Joyner and John Jefferson and that Danny Fouts and Kellen Winslow. There was some weapons there.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
What makes Thielen, in your estimation, what makes him so good? What does he do that other receivers can't do, don't do, won't do, whatever?
We're going to go right back to it. Similar to what I said last week about certain players. It's right here, Ringer. It's right here.
Yeah.
Is he gifted? Yeah. He can create separation. Okay, real difference in. Well, you look at Cordero Patterson, who's the better athlete, bar none.
Yeah.
Okay, he knows how to get open.
Okay, but how? You know, I think about maybe the Randy Mosses of the world, and I don't want to whatever, but you know they always the Des Bryants, they always got the little handoff thing to get open. I don't see Thielen. You know, I see maybe a hand up, but I don't see him pushing off a lot. You know, like some of these other guys do to get open. He just always is open. I mean, and then whoever is throwing the ball just throws it. And
I think it helps that he's in the slot. I really do.
Okay.
I don't think he can get that bump and run as easily as Diggs. Diggs doesn't seem to get open as easily. I think both receivers though can create separation. You know, it's an old term. You know, I guess us people in the media, can we say that about ourselves?
Sure.
Yeah, we kind of overplay it, but it's fact. I mean, the guy, when he goes off the ball, he can get open, he can create some separation. Cordero could never run a good pattern. Plus, he runs good patterns. I mean,
is that why he gets open?
I think so.
But
Cousins is him, and you could say Cousins and him are on the same page, but he was obviously on the same page with Case Keenum too. Yeah. So he's a proven high-end, top-end receiver in the NFL. Des Bryant, again, there you go, a superior athlete, you would think. But Adam Thielen's the real deal, and thank God I have him on my fantasy team.
I'll ask this, because you kind of brought it up with the guys that aren't playing. So Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh's got their bye week coming up, and Le'Veon Bell's supposed to be coming back. Did you see? Did you see any of the post-game interviews with Pittsburgh from yesterday?
No, I did not.
Well,
Fill me in.
They asked who's the running back for Pittsburgh right now?
James Conner.
James Conner. They asked him, is there any issue with Le'Veon Bell coming back? He said, look, I'm just trying to do the best I can to help this team win football games.
There you go.
And he said, if I start, am I a starter in this league? Yeah, I think I can be a starter in this league. If Le'Veon comes back and they decide that they want him to start instead of me, when they ask me to go out, I'm going to go do what I go do. So then they played that pretty serious kind of straight answer. And then they went to Ben Roethlisberger, and Roethlisberger said, well, when Le'Veon Bell starts at running back in our next game, and just deadpanned, he just kind of straight out said it, and then kind of looked over at the guy who brought up the question, like, that's what you wanted to ask, right? That's what you wanted me to say, right? That Le'Veon Bell is going to be starting, that he's going to be here. So he really kind of, he played it up too, that, the media, just like you said, we're all bringing it in and doing it. And does he come back? Is where I wanted to go with this.
Yeah, it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. They didn't have practice today, so it wouldn't have been had maybe a walkthrough at most. Again, they're on a bye week, so their practice plans are a lot different. So there's no need for him really to come in other than to get probably a physical and make sure he's healthy enough to play. But here's what will happen when he comes in. He'll get some play. He will split the first two games. Then Bell will take over. Okay? So I have them both, which could cause a nightmare for me.
You're sure that will happen?
Positive.
They showed the stats. Okay.
I don't care about stats.
They showed the stats from Le'Veon Bell's first 6 games last year.
Who cares?
First 6 games this year for Connor.
Yeah.
More yards.
Who cares?
More touchdowns.
Who cares?
Less touches.
Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
No.
Does not matter. Only because he's on your fantasy
team. Who's better player?
As far as I know, James Conner, because it's the guys that are running in behind the offensive line.
Yeah. Who would you and I rather have on our team? James Conner.
Okay.
As far as pure talent, one-on-one, a mano, Le'Veon Bell's a better running back. If he wasn't, they would not be offering him the franchise tag of being the highest paid running back in the NFL.
So if we are sitting here in 4 weeks, and Le'Veon Bell is not starting, is not the man for Pittsburgh, What happens? Nothing?
I will do something really stupid in front of you. What do you want?
Can we shave your hair?
No. No. I got so many little bumps, and I'm like one of those planets up there. No, I got a really ugly head, and the little hair I do have, I like to keep my scalp covered, so that's why I won't do it.
I just get Le'Veon Bell.
Give me something else, and I'll do it. That's legal.
It just ticks me off that we're playing this game. I don't like guys who play this game.
Well, me as well.
So
okay, why does Odell Beckham Jr. get away with it?
I don't think I don't know why he does.
He's killing them. He's killing that franchise right now.
Because he made one catch.
He's killing that franchise right now. And then Stephen A. Smith went off on Eli and the offensive line and actually came right out and basically said, how can you not win with the best wide receiver and the best running back in the NFL? And Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. is probably, I don't even think he's top 15. Even at his best, he made one catch that people all remember that it's like the greatest catch. David Tyree, in my opinion, made a better catch and a more important catch than Odell Beckham Jr. will ever make in his career. So for all you fans out there watching the show from New York City, you don't want Odell on your team. Okay.
Anything else from the NFL yesterday that
I don't know. This place just keeps getting more and more packed. People are coming in. They're hearing about the show. If your guys aren't doing anything on a Monday night and you're getting ready to watch Monday Night Football, come down to Looney's Brew, downtown Rangers, south of the Rainier Boat Landing, and come in and join us. We'd love to have an audience. And right now, there's probably 10, 11, 12, 13 people here now, and it's getting bigger.
There we go. How about the Bears? Anything to say about the Chicago Bears, Miami Dolphin game?
I guess good thing for Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
Frank Gore let him down that whole drive and all the way down, and of course Bruce Sandbeck has him on his fantasy team, and then they pulled Gore and bring in Drake, and he fumbles. So the good part with Brucey now is Gore will probably get all the goal line situations from here on out.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, good for Miami. I'm glad they came back. Chicago is the real deal there. They will split. Them and the Vikings will split this year.
Who's going to win the division?
The Vikings will win. They'll be 10-5-1, and the Bears will end up 10-6. What else you want to know?
That sounds like a very good guess to me. I like that.
I looked at the schedule the other day, and the Vikings will end up 10-5-1. They will beat New Orleans at home.
So they're going to go 7-3 over the last 10.
Yes, sir.
So they're going to lose to
New England,
Chicago, and
they'll beat Green Bay. I'd have to see the schedule, but there is
Detroit twice.
There is one more team. They'll beat Miami. They'll beat the Jets. They will lose. They might lose to Detroit.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's move on. Let's talk MLB. Just
briefly.
Boston and Houston tied at a game apiece, and the Dodgers.
What's going on with Chris Sale and David Price? I thought they were like unbeatables, and they're getting beat around. And who's pitching that tomorrow? Porcello?
Sale, something's wrong medically. They aren't.
Yeah, they're checking some stomach things.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. If there's something more going on there, I don't know exactly what. I think David Price has got too big of feet. That's what I decided from watching the game last night.
Wow.
Did you see his white shoes? His feet must be about this long. He can't pitch with feet.
But he's had them since he started, right? Like he got new feet.
It almost looked like he had clown shoes on last night.
Yeah, but he didn't get new feet.
Yeah, well,
it's the same feet he's pitched all these innings.
I think he's got a bigger shoe on though, so that I don't know.
Do you think maybe he's wearing the bigger shoes to cover his bigger feet?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll say this, and with Price, I don't know what the deal was previous to, but you're playing Houston. Houston can hit the ball. I mean,
here's the deal there. Verlander's going to pitch 3 times.
Yeah.
Can you beat him one of those 3? Or do you got to win the other 4?
I would say Boston's probably got to win the other 4.
And then you got Keuchel, I think Keuchel, he's okay. He's 4 runs per game inning pitcher. He's actually a number 3 starter. So the one who they got through to last night was it Garrett Coles?
Yep.
He hasn't given up 4 runs all year.
Correct.
So they kind of got through on him. Both teams can hit, let's face it. So who's going to win the most 5-4 games, I guess. That's where we're at. It's fun. It's fun baseball. To be honest, I probably watched maybe out of the whole, since this whole playoff thing started, probably 3 innings. There's just no interest in Bully's life to waste 4 hours of my lifetime. I waste 4 hours of my lifetime doing other things.
So still sticking with the Dodgers?
Yeah, are they still in it?
The Dodgers are still in it, 1-1 with the Brewers.
Of course I'm sticking with
Game
it.
3 tonight in LA, in La La Land.
Okay. Should be fun.
And you're still sticking with Houston?
Absolutely. Houston, the Dodgers, yeah, just like the old Mike Scott versus Fernando Valenzuela days.
Wow.
Huh?
Pulling it right out of the bag. Did you listen to the 78 wrap? Did we talk about this last week? The 78 wrap up of my halftime show?
Yeah. I don't know if I got
out.
Well, Todd Pavlik.
I didn't say he went about Alabama.
Yeah, he was recruited by Paul Bear Bryant to punt for him. Actually, Todd was 6'3", probably 250, 245 in high school. He's a heck of a hockey player, and he ended up going to Ferris State on a hockey scholarship.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And there were some, not issues, but Todd, he wasn't really having any fun. So then he came back and played for Rainy River, and Todd was a great athlete. But one thing about Todd Pavlik, to me, to this day, I look at him as just kind of a kind, friendly giant and just a super guy. So sports to him was important, but being a nice guy and being a part of family stuff was more important to him.
Somehow, somewhere over the weekend, I don't know what hockey game I was watching, but they got talking. Maybe I was talking with Sheldon, about UMD, and they were talking about all these kids from the Grand Rapids, and we got your name even came up.
Well, it should.
We got talking about how many.
You're talking about Rapids in the Falls.
How many Division I players that you had on your 77, 78, 79 teams, and back in that
probably
era.
the same amount, Rapids. Maybe I think we even actually had a little more.
So he was talking about the team from like 2017 or 2017 that won the state tournament. How many kids, and that this Holm
4.
kid. Well, if this Holm kid would have went and played because he got D1 offers.
What did he do?
Decided he was going to go be a student instead. Decided he didn't want to go through 2 years of juniors, so he just said, "I'm going to go to school." He's going to go be an engineer. So he decided to heck with the hockey.
I'm not going to disagree with or go after Sheldon on that. He was borderline Division I.
So anyhow, if he would have went and played Division I, 8 kids off that team would have went and played.
8?
8.
Got the other goalie, Stetzel,
Huh?
Hayne, McLaughlin. Who else?
Shepard? Is he gonna?
Shepard was before them.
Before that?
He was more into the.
16.
He was
team?
with that one kid who played. We could do this stuff all day, but I only know Hayne.
Anyway,
I think there's 4 or 5.
I just thought it was interesting. He came up over the weekend, and
Sheldon's a big shot now, so
he is a big shot.
Yeah, he barely.
He's down there, he's
he
got a
won't.
state championship,
Yeah, he
he's
looks
on
at
his
me now
mantle.
like I don't even exist. I don't know what.
even exist.
Yeah, I was in. He's got a thing where you can go on Twitter and watch a show. So I was watching, and I never got a shout out for watching it.
That was brand new this weekend. That was the test run this weekend.
Okay, you gonna do it now?
They are going to put all their games, all of Grand Rapids' hockey games will be going out over the internet, and with his play-by-play in behind.
What's the legalities on that?
As long as the school is doing it, it's perfectly fine.
There's no high school.
Once they get to the playoffs, different story.
Okay.
Regular season games, though,
Can he get paid for doing it?
he'll get paid by the radio station for doing his
Okay, just
play-by-play.
like you get paid like a lot of bucks for doing the Bronco
Yeah,
games.
something like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's legal. Are we going to do that then?
Do we want to?
Why wouldn't we?
Well, here's the one thing that I can say about that. The girls' hockey coach was all for it. The boys' hockey coach was all for it. The basketball coaches for Grand Rapids were completely against it.
Wow. Why?
No.
Any definitive answer?
I don't want other teams seeing what they're doing. I want to make sure that they have to come scout them. I think was the rationale.
Okay.
So, In this day and age, everybody's got film on everybody else. I mean, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, maybe. But now, everybody's using Huddle or something. The video's out there. All I gotta do is call up, Joe, my good friend from Virginia or GNK or wherever, and say, "Hey, got any tape on Grand Rapids?" "Yep." "Can I see it?" "Sure."
This is high school, right?
This is high school.
Not college.
Not college.
High school.
College, they got to do this. They got to pass out film on each
That's
other.
my point.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Maybe I was wrong, but my 1 year I did coach high school, I took it as like I was coaching the Bantams and Pee-wees. As I adjusted after the first period, it was something really complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't do a lot of pre-scouting. We got in the playoffs the 1 year, and we played one team, and I had a little bit of information on that team from DeCenzo. So I guess, again, maybe I was wrong, but I just didn't deem it necessary.
Let's move on to the Wild.
I had to coach, Ringer. That's how you learn to coach.
There you go. Wild,
Yeah.
nice comeback last Thursday against Chicago. Tough loss against Carolina on Saturday night.
Yeah.
You have had it with Charlie Coyle still.
Yeah,
Even though I watched it for 10 minutes on Thursday
he did
when
play.
I got home,
Yeah.
and he was playing good.
Here's the deal. People can say what they want, and Charlie is going to have some great games. He's a very talented player. I've never ever questioned his skill set or his talent. The only thing I've always questioned him is right where you just pointed to.
Yeah.
And not saying he doesn't have heart, because obviously he had to in order to get as good as he did. He had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess when I look at Charlie Coyle, I just see so much. Okay. That it's kind of just like, gosh, kid, do you know what you got? And will you regret it 5 years, 7 years from now? So I'm going to be nice tonight. I was a little hard on him, but the refs kind of took away some of the heat that I could give any of the players. But when you're getting outshot 38 to 8 after 2 periods of Wild, we're outshot. We have some issues.
What were you so mad about the officials about from Saturday?
Did you watch it? It was, and I'm not saying this because I'm a diehard Wild fan. I like the Wild, but you know me, I'm more of a hockey fan. Yeah. I try to stay away from it. I'll look at every play and say, yeah, that was a penalty, or no, that wasn't a penalty for both teams. Okay, but there was something to this. There was something not right. On the one ref called 15 of the 18 penalties, and a lot of them were just calls that shouldn't and wouldn't normally ever be called. Now, the conspiracy theories out there, Russo mentioned it, in that if you remember the Morrissey Stahl incident last year in the playoffs, where Morrissey took his stick and whack right in the back of the head. The ref who was reffing that game, his name's Corval, he's reffed on Saturday night. So what happened after the game, if you remember right, Stahl or Morrissey never got a penalty on that.
Correct.
Okay, never got a penalty. Boudreau just lashed out at the reffing, lashed out more specifically at Corval, the referee in question here, and said, "How can you were looking the tape? The tape shows you were watching the whole thing, and it was a clear headshot with a stick." Anyways, the NHL protects Corval somewhat in that they only gave Morrissey a 1 game. He should have got at least 3 or 4. Intent to injure. Right?
Yep.
So he gets 1 game. The best part about it, I thought, was, and didn't really hear much about it, is this Corvo never reffed another game in the playoffs. Okay? Never reffed another game. And this is a first round, game 3.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, 3.
Game
First
3.
game up in Winnipeg.
Okay? Never reffed another game in the first round, second round, third round, or Stanley Cup finals. Never reffed another game. Now, tell me Corvo was seeking revenge on Bruce Boudreau, thinking he was the reason he didn't get the ref during the playoffs, because if you know this, like I do, refs get paid a little more ching during the playoffs, okay, like double. So they want to be a part of that, and that's how they gain their status as an NHL ref. So I'm not saying that ref did that, but Ringer, there was 5 penalties that weren't even close to being a penalty. Me and my brother are sitting at a local establishment. I'll say it. We were sitting in Sammy's because they got nice TVs and we were watching. And And we were just appalled. And the people next to us are laughing at us because they say, yeah, but geez, we don't even have to watch a game. We can just listen to you two. So it was just the tripping penalties and the shot to the bad area that Stahl did on Zucker, and then Zucker retaliates by tapping his stick. And then there was a tripping penalty where the guy was falling, and Stahl's stick was near it, and they called a tripping penalty. And then even to put icing on the cake, and I got to get off this soapbox, the last play of the game as Aho shot and scored,
Right.
a penalty was coming to Suter for a little glove slap with his stick. Again, all those penalties, there weren't any, and there was penalties. Brindamore was questioning, the coach of Carolina, which I don't know how he could question some of the things that was happening. But and if you notice, Bruce Boudreau at the end would not answer any questions about the refs. Would not. Russo went after him twice on it, and it's unfortunate. But those refs in that game should not do another NHL game, in my opinion, because something was not right. And if you're a true fan of the game and understand it, it was not right what they were calling.
Okay, so let me ask this question. This is obviously opinion. So Corville got his revenge.
Well, again, that's a conspiracy theory. Doesn't mean it's true. Yeah.
But let's put our conspiracy theory that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Is it over now? Do the Wild walk away and shut their faces? Does Corville say, "I got you SOBs. I got you for your game. You guys ended up losing. You got a point. Lucky you got your point, and now it's done."
Okay, now Corville that ref should have to sit a long while. I don't know if he will. Then if he does, then the NHL has to basically go by the conspiracy rule and say, yeah, there's something not right here. Okay, now I will guarantee you this. He will not do another Wild game the rest of the year. And I will monitor that, okay? And if he does, I'll report back and say I can't believe it, but he is actually reffing another Wild game. I say there's no way he refs another Wild game.
But I guess I say it this way. You wrong me, okay? You whatever me, I whatever. And then I come back and I get you and I underhand you or what, and then, okay, it's over. You screwed me, I screwed you, now, okay, let's move on. It may not be right.
No, but nobody screwed him.
Yeah, but
he didn't call.
He didn't get his money last year.
He did not call the penalty. So you could blame Bruce Boudreau or Chuck Fletcher or anybody who said something to the NHL offices all you want. But it's still the NHL office that made that decision. He cannot go after the Minnesota Wild for his...
Because the Wilds were the one that did it to him, that he didn't get to make his buckles.
He did it to himself. How can you not... I mean, I don't know what's wrong with the guy.
If the Wild wouldn't have said anything, you think he still would have gotten not a game?
Yeah, it proves my theory, Ringer. I've always said 80% of all refs hold grudges. Okay? They do. Okay? And they will do whatever they can. Unfortunately, though, I could mention 3 that live in the Falls that refed. Okay? And one wasn't my brother, and one wasn't Bill Mason. Bill Mason and Jerry Bolson were very good refs. But we had some here in town that would retaliate with certain calls.
Okay.
Off camera, I'll tell you who they are.
I think I might have an idea who we're going to towards. What else? What do you got?
Well, other than that, the Wild, they are who they are. They will have to get out of this somehow. Bruce Boudreau kind of a little bit, in my opinion, threw the players a little bit under the bus, saying we do not have speed. Now, did he do that on purpose? Okay, because speed and quickness are 2 different things.
Right.
Okay, Peter Luca had a little of both, but he is mostly a speed guy. Quickness is different. Quickness is what you need at the NHL level. You got to be bang, 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 small areas, be able to create something in those. The Wild right now aren't playing at a quick level, and does that mean changes are coming? I don't know. What I guess they are, yeah. I said this the other day, we got to blow it up, and one guy, a good friend, I've never met him, is Harvey. He's a good friend of mine on Twitter, and we've had some talks about, he thinks it's just the 4 games, and he's going to give it time, where I'm, basically saying the world's at an end for the Wild, and so we conversed a lot on that, and He's a good guy. Harvey Manfredgens, and if you aren't following him, give him a follow. He's a pretty good hockey guy.
Where was I going to go with it? Oh, NBA starts on Wednesday. We know how much Michael loves the NBA.
Well, yeah.
We always make our prediction before the season, so I'm going to ask you.
No, jeez.
Who comes out of the West? Who comes out of the East? Because it doesn't really matter before then. Because we know who's probably coming out of the East. It's going to be the
Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics. There ain't anybody over.
See, I don't know anything about basketball, and I can answer these questions.
Boston Celtics. Okay,
And
so now we'll go
Golden
to the
State
West,
Warriors.
where things get a little bit more.
No, it doesn't. Golden State.
So you're going with LeBron James and the Lakers are gonna.
No, it's Golden State. They got another guy, right? They got a Cousins. So Cousins joined the old frat club. So again, the NBA is broke. You can say what you want. I think 26 teams, or who's ever those other 26 teams that aren't the 6.
They're just paying the bills.
Yeah, just fans don't show up for the games. That's how you solve it. Okay, just don't show up at the games, and they got to say, well, we have nobody showing up in Cleveland, nobody showing up in Indiana, nobody showing up in Utah, nobody showing up in Atlanta, Minnesota, Washington, D.C. Oh, they can't compete, Ringer. The league is broke. You have all-star teams on 5 teams. The other 27 teams or whatever it is are basically just playing it out to supposedly entertain the fans. NBA basketball is pretty boring.
So Houston
Pass it out, 3-point shot, move on.
Houston can take down Golden State?
No, they just can't.
Just can't do it.
Can't do it.
Okay. So when we come back in late May,
No, I guarantee it again. I ain't shaving my head. But.
I agree. The Celtics and the Warriors, of course, you know.
What about Jimmy Buckets? Is he going to play opening night?
Who?
Jimmy Butler?
No. Jimmy Butler will never play for the Timberwolves.
Will he be traded before the opener?
No.
What will he do on the opener?
He will be sitting maybe up in the upper level with the.
So he will be in the building. By contract, he has to be.
Yeah, he'll be there somewhere. I don't think he'll be on the bench. He'll be told to go sit up with Glenn Taylor, or they'll get him a box wherever
That would
they're
be
at. No, he will. He cannot.
Your thoughts on Jimmy Butler? You're never the controversial guy. Let's hear a little steam coming out of the Ringer.
What Jimmy Butler did last week, from what I'm being told, because I didn't read anything about it, I didn't even hear anything about it until I talked with my uncle this weekend about what he did, about bringing ESPN, about him, what he did in practice, what he did, whatever. My uncle said, and I was about ready to say it at the same time, he needs to be suspended indefinitely for conduct detrimental to the team.
You just wanted to say that.
No, he should be suspended. He should never put on a Timberwolves jersey again. If he does, something bad's going to happen on the floor between him and one of his teammates. I hate to say that because they hate him. He hates them. They are broken. He cannot be a part of this team. Whether Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins are wrong, or whether Jimmy Butler is wrong, I don't think is the whatever here. They will never get along. I don't care who's the coach. Tom Thibodeau, bring Phil Jackson out of retirement. Hell, dig up Red Auerbach. It ain't going to matter.
Nice.
He's never going to be able, that person's never going to be able to put these 3 pieces of the puzzle back together again, because they won't allow it to happen to be together again. And unfortunately, with Wiggins and Towns having the max contracts, Butler is the one that has to go, and Thibodeau is trying to stop that. He wants Jimmy on his team. Jimmy's his boy. Jimmy is his man. This is why he brought him here. He got him out of Chicago, got him here because it was going to fix things here. And unfortunately, if Thibodeau doesn't give up the whatever on this, he's going to lose his job, because I don't think Towns and Wiggins want to play for him either. And so now if you don't have Jimmy there to make things go, that's my opinion. Thibodeau probably has to go. And I don't think Taylor wants to say, well, I blew 2 more years of whatever to do this. But I think, unfortunately, Glenn Taylor's going to have to do that. He is going to have to blow up the coach and GM, and he's going to have to find somebody who can come in and coach Wiggins and Towns and find a way to get those 2 guys. Wiggins, He's not. I don't think he's not. He isn't what we thought he was going to be. We thought he was going to be this Michael Jordan type guy who could do all this other stuff. He can't shoot a jump shot. Michael could, Michael Jordan could fade away, could pull up jump, could do all this stuff. Andrew Wiggins, unless he's gotten way better over the summer, cannot do these things. He is not that kind of player. Karl Anthony Towns is a 7-footer. He's Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, he sits out on the perimeter. We don't have a post player that can go in there.
No.
And some people would say, in the NBA today, you don't need a post player. I mean, you don't look at what Golden State and Houston have done. They really don't have a center. You just said it. Drive, dish for the three, shoot the three, see what happens. Unfortunately, that's what the NBA is. So to say that we need a center or Karl Anthony Towns can't stand out on the perimeter, I think that's a falsehood. I think he can, and he's not bad out there. He's a better jump shooter than Wiggins. So do you need him out there? And it seems like it's been one thing after another with the Wolves. They just can't seem to get the right chemistry to hold this thing together. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's inevitable. I think you're right about the coach. I'd be surprised if he made it, through the first couple weeks. It wouldn't make much sense to keep him around if Butler's not around and everybody else that played for the Chicago Bulls on this franchise. Well, Yannick Noah's available, or Yannick's kid, Joakim, so we can even grab him. Last question on this. If you've noticed, the press has not been getting anything from Wiggins or Towns. Has Wiggins and Towns been told to keep their mouths shut, or are they just not going to get involved in this?
They've been told to keep their mouths shut. Let Jimmy go do what Jimmy's going to do because Jimmy's not going to be here. Just shut your mouths and go do what you can do and try to stay out of the fray, out of the limelight on this. We know it's a toxic situation. Yeah, they've been told, not by Thibodeau, by Glenn Taylor or whoever.
Scott Layden.
Somebody on the up and up has told them, look, you guys just got to sit here and shut your mouths until Jimmy's gone, till we can find somebody where we can get anything for him right now. Anything.
Yeah.
I was flipping through the channels the other day or whatever it was, and the show from Miami on ESPN.
Le Batard.
Batard's
the worst show on ESPN ever.
Anyway, they were talking about the Jimmy thing. It must have been right after what he did on Wednesday, and they were talking about the fact that the dad in the middle said, and Jimmy wants to be a winner, and he's asked to go to Brooklyn, the Nets, the Clippers, or the Knicks, and he's like, they're not winners. Why would?
But he'll go there.
But he's not a leader. How's he? He can't make those teams win.
Money.
They're not a winner. So it's just about a paycheck. It's not about winning.
Yeah, and Le Batard and his dad being on ESPN proves to me that you and I could actually have our own show. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's terrible. If people actually enjoy that, then you and I got a future in big time TV. Am I right, Matt?
Anyway, but that does drive the point home. I agree.
Yeah, I mean they're the worst. I mean the people that actually watch Dad and Le Batard and his dad, who you can't understand what he says anyways, and then he sits there and laughs at stupid stuff. No, that's the worst TV in the world. Seriously, Ringer.
I agree.
We got to. I don't know. Somehow, whoever produces that show, we got to contact them. Say, listen, I think our gig's a little better and a little fresher. Okay,
Anything
what else
you want to talk about?
I really don't have anything else. I think this is a good, solid show. We're talking good about everybody except the Timberwolves, and I have nothing. High school?
Again, we're going to take next week off. Yeah, Broncos get their second win. The football team got their second win of the season.
Good for them.
Very nicely. The defense played again outstandingly. I'm going to say it right here. So it's out there, and I said it on my Facebook post with the Broncos this morning. The Broncos win on Wednesday over Virginia. They get a home playoff game.
Wow.
They're going to get a home playoff game. The QRF is such that they would do that. They lose, they're probably going to get the 6th seed. So that shows you how close 3, 4, 5, and 6 are in the QRF.
I was actually hoping that the Falls were good enough this last weekend, and they're definitely good enough. But to run up that score on Evelyn, because we owe Wayne Roberts that. He purposely ran the score up against the Broncos here about 3 years back, and I think that would have been, since he's still in their school district, it would have been a nice way to get a little revenge on that.
Yeah, like I said, the Broncos
That's coming
played
from
well.
me, not from Ringer. Ringer has to stay out of that stuff.
Playoffs do start next week for everybody. Single A volleyball on Monday. That's why we can't do the show, because I'll be doing volleyball on the radio. Football on Tuesday, double A volleyball on Wednesday, cross country on Thursday next
Wow.
week, and then so that kind of gets everything going for the playoffs next week. So it'll be a busy week next week. I possibly could be on the road 3 nights in a row to start the week. So I thank Mike for saying, let's take the week off.
Yeah, I
Trying to-
agree.
trying to squeeze
Sometimes you can
stuff.
overplay this stuff. Yeah, I think we're good.
Anything else?
No,
Thanks, everybody.
don't take us too serious.